dude. He's the coolest dude ever. Look at you.
Mr. No Nap.
He's like, oh,
hard, huh?
did you call it? Did you? Are you talking to me?
I came here to be cool, man. We don't nap. We don't nap on Sundays and Saturdays.
He wears his sunglasses and hat all day. It's hilarious.
Really?
Even inside.
That's awesome.
Inknash Maniksha, Mariana Harvey, Washnash Yakima Kanik. I'm Mariana Harvey, I'm Yakima, member of the Yakima Nation. I identify as an artist as somebody who makes earrings and makes songs. I am a mother, I'm an Itla. I sing all the time with my partner. Like that's, I think, one art form that didn't ever leave since I had my son. Like we sang to him all the time when he was in the womb. I'm speaking more of my language than I have in my whole life. I'm learning more because I want him to know it, I want him to hear it. He's learning all these songs because I want him to, you know, be lullabied to sleep with all of the songs that Itsa and I carry, and he's sharing them back.
As a family and as a couple, song has definitely been a huge part of our lives. I mean, it's one of the ways that we first really bonded, coming together. You know, just enjoying music together and singing, and but really I think more so what drew us closer with that was once we started singing in ceremony together. It helps us to be grounded to our ancestors and our experience here and our families, and it really helps open our hearts. We are able to kind of share that understanding. That's just something that we always have, and I really appreciate that. As soon as he was born, that was the first thing he did. As soon as we came out, is we sang him a welcome song and a happy birthday song. And he's been so much medicine for myself in catching songs too. I feel like I've never caught so many songs as when he came out. He just brought that with him. You know, it was part of his gift to us.
My son Ayut is about 20 months old, and it's been almost 20 months since I made earrings. So some art forms have kind of gone a little dormant during this time of motherhood. We met at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado, and one year there was like a bunch of women, and we were just like listening to Fawn Wood, and like we're like, how do we sing these Fawn Wood songs together? And so we would just kind of gather as Native women and just learn all these different songs from other women artists. And then when I moved from Colorado back up to the Northwest, I had recently met Glenda, and she had asked if I was gonna start a women's singing group, and I was like, no, but we could. And that's literally how it started. It was just sort of like, what? I didn't say that, but let's do it. We'd make dinner, and really it was, you know, a lot about like community building as Native women. So I'm really loving the place that we're in, you know, to be here in Chehalis territory and to be in a beautiful Camas, Gary Oak Prairie. Like these are all precious places. Everywhere is a precious place, but this is just a really beautiful place to gather with people that I really love.
Let me sleep. My name is Itsa Shash, and I'm Apache Mexica, and I'm descended from Warm Springs Apache, Nawa, Chichimeca, Ipogao, Cebuano, and British German peoples. Today I was sharing some of my art as a singer, right? I was really grateful to be able to spend some time. Thank you for asking me to do that. And I love to sing. I grew up singing with all kinds of different ceremonies in my family, and I do think of myself as a song catcher or a song weaver. And it's something that for me, it doesn't feel like they're always just mine. They kind of fall out as they need. You know, people ask me for support they might need songs for canoe or songs for an honoring, or sometimes I'm just trying to put my son to sleep and songs fall out, you know. So I kind of think I just catch them and then try to weave them along into whatever is needed.
Mariana and Itsa have caught songs for us, and they've been so generous to share those songs with us. Anytime life would get overwhelming or intense or feel like I couldn't contain the moment that was happening, that I had a tool, and the tool would be a song, and that tool sort of allowed me passage through intensity, difficulty, something with gravitas, that I was able to kind of move into the next step or into the next phase, and just giving them like gratitude for that, and I continually give them gratitude for that. I think it's a real honor to know someone who is going to give you the gift of song, and it's also it's a real gift that they carry, being able to catch the songs, and then also in turn being so open to share the songs. I hold a space in my heart for them because they've given me the tools to sort of to deal with things that might be difficult. Thanks, guys. My name is Selena Carney. I'm a member of the Chehalis tribe. My mothers were Janice Latch and Teresa Rosander. My grandmother is Ida Rosander. I like to get together and sing with my sister friends a lot. And I appreciate Itsa filling in for me today, singing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm also a photographer, and I've been practicing photography for about 8 years now. And I'm not a very good weaver, but I do like to sing and weave with Glenda and Mariana. And I am also part of the Suquamish Spirit of the Raven canoe family.
White Haskahalt, Eastqueest, Glenda Breiler, Tali Hast Apanat Slahalt, and Meestum Squeezed, Ron Breiler, and Tomb Squeezed, Patricia Breiler. I am a member of the Colville Confederated Tribes Okanagan Band. I work as the director of the Evergreen Longhouse at the Evergreen State College, so I feel like I accumulate artist friends, including my husband, and I love our artists of all trades. I also consider myself an artist, and I love to sing.
I always think of the moment you've told me so many times about being on the river at Standing Rock.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Not trying to force that moment on you.
We were asked to coordinate the canoe journey, a 2-day paddle on the Missouri River. So basically we were supposed to leave at about 9 in the morning, and somehow we ended up leaving at 11. We knew that there was going to be a thunderstorm, but it just so happened we decided we ended up not being able to go until 11. Then Connie McLeod of the Puyallup tribe, which was the first canoe family I paddled with, she shared a prayer, and they had brought their canoe called Kwakwati, which means thunder spirit. And right when we got on the water, it started hailing. About 10, 15, 20 minutes into being on the water, and then the lightning came, and then the thunder, and all of the things happened, and so we had to quickly divert and get off of the water. And then my husband, he knows emergency response, so he said, okay, get 20 feet apart or 30 feet or whatever it was, and we were like, okay. And so then he was like, get down lower, and we were like, all right. So we were just kind of like praying and huddling and crouched, and we didn't know if they would find us, and it was really cold. And then finally we heard some voices on the water, and our friend Michael, our new friend, who was an ally, showed up, and he found us and they rescued us. It's a really remarkable story, and Selena and I really got pushed out there in front of the camera, and we didn't know we would be coordinating. We were just going to be on the paddle. We didn't know we would be coordinating the paddle, and so it was just a really amazing experience.
Well, we got a song out of the deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty great, right?
We did.
We got a song out of the deal. We were like, how are we ever going to have our own songs? And then
it appeared.
Then it happens. Yeah. It was scary, though. It was really scary. And being on the water, trying to make the decisions for a whole group of people and kind of balancing everyone coming all this way to do the paddle with everyone's safety, and yeah, you don't want to be on the river when there's lightning. Not at all. It's a bad idea.
One of my favorite memories of being in community and sharing songs and singing songs happened in Seattle at the first Indigenous Peoples Day celebration. I'm from Seattle. I grew up in Seattle. I have this memory of us during that celebration, that march to City Hall. I remember having the people that were leading the march like intentionally stopping at those intersections, and it's a weekday, it's the morning time, and we're intentionally stopping traffic in 4 ways downtown Seattle singing our songs. And you know, I want to say it's Sacred Water, which is a canoe family out of Suquamish, which Seattle is their traditional territory. And you know, like just watching, you know, like people of that land sharing their songs, stopping traffic in the middle of one of the biggest cities in the Northwest, like that is my favorite type of medicine. That turned into like, hey, there's this movement going on, let's go and sing our songs there. And I think what's beautiful is I feel like I'm seeing way more Native women holding that space now. And I don't think, I just feel like we're just a drop in the bucket of that in general. Like, you know, you see us, you know, carrying drums and singing songs. Like, I didn't see that just like 20 years ago. And so I feel grateful for all the people that have made space for women voices to really come to the front. And I feel like our unnamed group is, you know, part of that, making that space for women voices and women singers. So I'm really passionate about like that gift of song, and when somebody, like, especially for me, that focus of like when I see a Native woman like learn a song and pick up a drum, and just like that shift that happens, you know, that powerful shift that kind of is just like they feel armed, you know, to actually share that maybe on the front line of that No DAPL or that MMIWP, you know, community gathering, and to share that medicine out. So, Kwatani Shamash.
Iskuis Kauplis Inamkla Dan Nanamkin. I'm here on the Colville Indian Reservation. On my father's side, I'm Okanagan and Lakes and Skoyal. And on my mother's side, I'm from the Nimipu, the Walwama Chief Joseph Band of Nez Perce, and a little bit of Umatilla, but I reside here on the Nespilum on the Colville Indian Reservation, and I'm an educator. Do storytelling. I also do Native American powwow dancing, singing, ceremonial singing, and I also play the flute, a little bit of poetry, and I'm also getting into writing. Storytelling to me is an honor. My great-great-grandmother, her name was Chmissimis, they call her Morning Dove, and she was the first Native American female author, and that's what she did, was preserve our chaptil, our stories, our creation stories. So I'm honored to learn these and pass these on to the youth. I'm currently in the works of creating a storytelling lodge, a pit house that we'll hopefully by this time next year we'll be sharing these stories and encouraging our youth, because they also provide a lot of values, our indigenous values and customs that are contained within those stories. This is my mission in life, but most of all, it's developing that relationship to Tamhulak, Mother Earth, and to our Tamich, the animals, and to the plants. You know, all these different things that we often overlook, but however, we, as a result, are feeling the repercussion, you know, with what's going on with our ozone, what's going on with all the different environmental issues that we're facing, because we are not respecting Mother Earth, you know, as we were designed and as we were told to do in our chaptilk and our stories. So I am honored, you know, to utilize some of the modern technology of music that could connect with the youth of today, but our stories from long, long ago, that I only encourage that we could keep those alive and keep our children interested in learning those things. This is just important to always remember that, to always observe and appreciate nature and our tamich. Tamich is our animals, you know, all the life that's out here, and the life of our plants. You know, they all have a spirit, they all have songs. We have names for them in our language, and just like my great-great-grandmother, Miss Morning Dove, said, you know, this was the theory of our Indian existence, that even these herbs, you know, they have a mission, a purpose. So all of these herbs, they also cure sicknesses, disease, and we use them for different foods and cleansing and take care of ourselves. And we value our connection here, and we begin to understand. And we also begin to understand how fulfilling it is, you know, fulfilling to us, our spa'us, our heart, and everything we are, because in this modern world, many times we think we're all alone. We think nobody cares for us, you know, but this natural world out here, it cares for us. It was our original teachers. This is where our language comes from, our songs come from. We learned it here in Champula. I hold my culture and my tradition close to my heart. So everywhere I travel, everywhere I go, I represent my people. I represent my homeland. I represent our children. I represent where I live and what I've learned. So I'm always proud to represent, our art. Our art is, in our designs, our colors that are here and represent some of the things that people only see in historical photos, but these things are still alive. The things that we utilize are still alive. They're alive in our ceremonies. They're alive in our walk of life. They're alive in our prayers. These are not something we only carry Sunday and go to church, but these are things that we continually utilize and pray with, each and every day. And to me, it's an honor, to have these things in my life and to represent my people, that our children will see that these are still cared for. We have to learn new ways how to create a bridge, because we don't know how long this pandemic will endure, and also the effects, will happen from that. So I'm trying my best to meet the set in the middle. And in doing so, has kind of created some ideas and thoughts. And I would really like to create more music, more storytelling, and more of the interaction, with the youth, but also not the youth, but those who have children. There's a lot of single mothers, out there. There's a lot of families who don't have an uncle, to teach. And that's my responsibility. That's my role in a way. And so a lot of times people refer to me as Uncle Dan, and that's how I speak, because I know our old ways in a way that I was raised very strict. So I have that strictness of our culture, the teachings. I learned that. But also, through my kikwapas, my dogs, I've also learned to be more gentle and kind and patient. So I've had to learn new communication, as well as with my Sweat Lodge brothers. They've also inspired me. So it's having that compassion, that love, and I guess you would say acceptance. I've had a responsibility. I've had an opportunity, just to give thanks and gratitude for all the people who have supported me, because this road is very hard, but it's also necessary. And my hopes from here is to write about it and create materials for workshops and education, and as well as some books and resources that I could share with those people who are struggling to learn. Because unfortunately, a lot of our cultural education is just not available, to people. And also in a way that captures the modern challenges. And that's where I come in. So I have a really unique perspective. And before I go, that's my hope, is I'll have that time to share that with the world. Ya pesnaxil de patsan pils chachapena
My name is Faran SoHappy. I currently reside in Grand Coulee, Washington, and I am a member of the Yakama Nation. I am a mixing engineer as well as a producer. For those who don't know who I am, the first 16 years of my life, I was raised in the state of Alaska. My dad is of the Yupik Eskimo people, and my mom is from down here. As a young man, I had to learn to speak my dad's language because my grandmother did not speak a lick of English. Being raised in Alaska, family meant everything, and being the only little Indian boy in an all Alaskan village, I was somewhat marked an outsider because I was different. They still speak their language to this day, and there's some tribes that can't say that. I remember being young, my grandma would always tell me, never forget where you came from. That I'll always appreciate, but being young at the time, not knowing now how much I appreciate them teaching me my dad's language. Some tribes are losing speakers. Qoyanga man tuji tamach puji hey Qoyanak fat man tuji tamach puji hey. Anytime I talk to any of my friends, and actually sometimes they do ask about how you got your start, I literally tell them it was at the NCC studio with James. We were both learning together. No matter what, they always say, you know, you complete this big circle, and I think that's what we're getting to. That's one of the moments that I truly and honestly cherish. And the other one was actually the song that I worked on with Joan Hamill and Rebecca Rivera, entitled Nature's Walk. 1 year ago, about this time, I got an email stating, hey, you know, we made the top, I think it was 5 for the NAMIs. When I got to the office next day, like, wait a minute. I went back and reread that email, and I actually had to call her. She told me, yeah, we're going to New York, buddy. And I'm like, oh, hey. And it was the joy. I think it was just the accomplishment. I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that just working on a song and helping it get it out there would lead to something like this. It was a huge honor for me to work with Tim and Joan and Rebecca to get as far as we did. The mixing and producing and all the side projects that I do, it kind of keeps me level. It really does. You can correct the errors there, but you can't correct the errors in life. Being a singer, it kind of helps because we all know these are trying times. It feels like when you're home a lot, the walls start to kind of cave in, I guess you'd say. This pandemic doesn't care who you are. And I really try to watch my parents closely because, you know, my parents mean the world to me. And like any child should to their parent. Appreciate today because, you know, I promised tomorrow. When I was in my 20s, that didn't mean nothing. I'm 44 and I understand the meaning of that now. Hey yo, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, yo, hey. Hey yo, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, yo, hey. Hey yo, hey, hey yo, hey. Ho, hey yo, hey yo, hey, ho, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey. Hey yo, hey, da, hey, ho, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey. Hey yo, hey, hey yo, hey, ho, hey, yo. This particular song that I sang was dedicated to my mom and dad, and I presented it to them on their 48th anniversary on April 8th. I am a powwow singer, and all these years I have never composed a song for my parents, but I felt that it was like an appropriate time to do it. Early on, a few years ago, I nearly wasn't here. I was, nearly 6 feet under. I still have my dark days where I still think about everything I've gone through. It's always going to be there, and I try not to think about it because, just like I named my album, Not Looking Back, I don't want to look back to those dark times, and I'm only human, I make mistakes, and I almost paid the ultimate price. Being a composer of powwow music too really helps me because a lot of the songs do have a lot of meaning. And so this particular song that I made for my mom and dad translates to my mother and to my father, I'm still grateful you're still here. And the other part of the song is to my mother and to my father, I'll always love you both. And that was from the Yupik Eskimo language on my dad's side. In this song, it really showed love for my parents because not everybody can say they have their mom and dad anymore. And I'm very grateful to have my mother and father still to this day. ha he ra o e o he. Ho e he I ha he ra o e o he. Ho e he I ha. Ho e he I ha he ra o e o he o e. Ho e he I ha. Ho e he I ha he ra o e o he. Ho e he I ha he ra o e o he. Ho e he I ha. Ho e he I ha.